During the course of our life, we will ask ourselves many questions. Among them may be, how well do we really know our parents? Can we really trust the people that we love? What is this weird sensation at the back of my throat? Why do I keep getting the feeling that I'm being watched by strange shadows? Why are people in my school suddenly disappearing and acting all weird when they don't disappear? And, oh my god, why are weird people in my house at all hours of the night? All these questions and more will be answered in The Privilege from Germany, so expect subtitles. It's a Netflix original written and directed by Felix Fursteiner, Kathria Show, and also written by Sebastian Weinman. And because it's German, I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce the actors' names because I'm pretty certain I screwed up all three of those. If you have not seen The Privilege, watch it. It's actually quite good. I know that's going to shock some people because usually I end up just kind of crapping on movies, but when Netflix can actually get a pretty good, foreign original movie and actually hit the right notes, it's actually pretty damn good. Now, this isn't quite as good as The Binding. The Binding I enjoyed a little bit more than this, but as far as a movie that uses a few different, not necessarily genres, but a few different ideas and tries to meld them and go in a bit of a different direction. It's not the most wholly original movie I've seen, but as far as the acting, as far as the atmosphere, and as far as what it tries to do, while it's uneven, it's definitely uneven. It's not great. It does hit more positives than negatives. So basically, there's a wealthy teen there, and he's got a bunch of friends and various other people he doesn't get along with because it's high school. It's a private school, and it's this guy, Finn. And he is Finn it to win it, as it were. Boy, really would be shameful if I ever, tried to make that into a shirt. Finn it to win it. Actually, you know what? He might be able to do that if he ever got into drama. He could have marketed that and made $1 million, except he's already wealthy, so he doesn't need to make any money. He has a friend, Lena, who leans towards women, if you get my drift, that is. Basically, they're best friends, and she's trying to get him to ask out this one girl, Samiri, who is this very nice, bubbly girl that really does see him as a good guy and really wants to get with him. There's also this, kind of jockey type guy that is dating her, maybe not dating her. They're a bit uneven when it comes to some of these characters. Like some of them are just here and then suddenly they're back and they're acting all weird all of a sudden. The best way I can describe this without spoilers would be a little bit of The Faculty, a little bit of like a, family drama, and then a few other like horror elements, like psychological horror elements. And there's enough good ideas here that there's enough cohesion that it mostly works. But the problem is even though this movie's like an hour and 40 minutes, not enough stuff's necessarily fleshed out, ironically, given some of the stuff that happens. But it has a whopper of an opening. We have young Finn and his older sister, Anna. Their parents leave, and suddenly there's this weird shadow that's chasing after them. Oh my god, it's after us. It wants us. We need to do something. What the hell's going on? Finn sees his sister covered in blood. Why? And she has a knife. Why does she have a knife? What the hell's going on? They race away, and through a set of circumstances, Anna ends up falling to her death. This haunts Finn. He's getting various tests and stuff like that, and a number of years later. And since he's wealthy and he's this really, really good athlete, his parents are trying to keep him in tip-top shape. They want to make sure that he, is as healthy as possible. He's also taking medication because obviously when you see a family member of yours pass away like that, in that tragic circumstance, it's going to haunt you. And then he's got various people at school and stuff like that. But suddenly it seems like things aren't going all that well. Like things are starting to act weird. He hears weird noises at night. Was this shadow that he saw when when him and his sister Anna ran away, was it real? Was it just something conjured up in his head, as the doctor said? What is actually going on? It turns out there's a lot more sinister intentions behind, the eyes of various people that just seem like they want to help. And I think that's pretty obvious as, it goes on even before the first act is done. Something be fucked up here. The thing is, it does a nice way of building stuff. And then, unfortunately, the wheels don't come off. They just start to spin a little bit. And then it just booms forward and has to wrap up a bunch of stuff, like, really, really quickly. It just starts chucking plots at you, little subplots, to the point you're, like, thinking, okay, I mean, I'm not saying I'm confused necessarily by what's going to happen, but why did we take so long to do this if we were going in this direction? It seemed like the movie didn't quite know what it wants to do, and that's the problem when you have 2 directors and 2 writers, or in this case, 3 writers. And they did a movie called The Curve, by the way, which I I want to say I saw, but I've seen so many goddamn movies, I probably have to rewatch it. But what ends up basically happening is there's this other sister, Sophie, and she is, she's not doing so well at one point. One night, Finn sees something that's very strange, and Sophie starts acting really weird after that. And he's seeing this fucked up shit, and he just can't get straight answers from his parents. They do more research, and it turns out, wow, shit's really, really going south. I don't know why in the world we need to see some of this imagery, but I will say as far as the opener is a whopper. It's pretty damn good, and it establishes, boom, bam, we are off to the races here. It doesn't quite match it doesn't quite match the opening, unfortunately. It tries to. Not like The Host. It doesn't quite get like that, but the 2006 Host, not the Stephenie Meyer one. But it almost seems like after that opening, and after a few other things, it starts to stumble a little bit. Basically, Finn's a good kid, and he ends up having to figure out what, happens and try to fix whatever, all this shit that's going on. He tries to figure out who he can trust. Can he trust his parents? He knows he can trust his grandfather, or can he trust his grandfather, because his grandfather is very, very old. And since it deals with the medical field and it deals with pills and stuff like that, you have to question, do we really need this stuff? Is it mental health? What is it? And those questions don't necessarily get touched on, but it does offer up enough good ideas, enough good sequences. Offers us some pretty damn good sequences. Nothing wholly original in the end, but enough that I can definitely recommend it. So if you have Netflix, I would absolutely recommend that you check this out. Because, come on, Netflix, it's pretty cheap, and also there are way, way, way worse originals that you could watch. The Weekend Away, I just reviewed that. Check that out if you want. But obviously, you have to be prepared to deal with subtitles, because it is in German. Please don't listen to it in the English dub. Unless you want to. But I always like to listen to it in the original language, and then I have to remember, oh shit, I have to watch this screen and make sure I catch the subtitles, because then I'll miss it, because I can barely keep up on English. But anyway, I'm going to get into spoilers here. So spoilers. All right, so Finn's trying to figure out all this shit. He's trying to figure out why his sister Sophie's acting weird, or his adopted sister Sophie. Maybe his sister Sophie. He's not necessarily certain, because it seems like this girl just suddenly pops up. The parents are very fit. They try to stay in great shape. And because what Finn ends up seeing early on after that sequence is he sees Sophie, and he sees this naked woman, this topless elderly German naked woman. Why they needed to show that, I have no idea. Checking out Sophie, like, what the hell's going on? Why is this happening? And then suddenly, poof, he gets knocked out. Now, does he get knocked out by the shadow? Does he get knocked out by something else? What is actually happening? What is the shadow? Is the shadow actually legit? So he suspects something's amiss. He gets Lena to go with him. And he also gets Samira to go, or Samiri. I apologize if I got these names wrong. He gets them to go with him eventually, even though Lena's like the only one that he trusts. The police don't believe, they don't believe Finn at all. There's the ex-boyfriend of Sophie, Ramin, who says, meet me at this diner. He says that to Finn. And apparently diners in Germany are in gas stations. I wasn't aware of that. But there's this weird woman there. Ramin follows, like, wondering what the hell is going on and everything, because he hears Sophie talking. Well, then he gets choked out, and this old woman turns out to be like this demonic, creature. And then by the time Finn arrives, he finds Ramin in the car wash, on top of the car wash. And I know when you want the hot wax, you need to get it, but it's not the best way to do it. The police don't believe him. This one guy says, well, we only saw 3 people in there. This old woman that couldn't hurt a fly, she wouldn't even hurt a fly. Ramin, and you. Do you think I did it? No. And then the dad's like telling the inspector, you won't have to worry about it anymore, but let's stop. Don't do this anymore. So there's this professor that's talking about this fungus also that can infest the brains of insects and take them over. And then he looks at his pills, and it turns out that there's a weird larva in one of his pills. And, in one of these wrapped pills, like this thing, like was just like your standard cold pills, you pop out a little tin foil. And he finds that, And he takes it to this one other professor, and she studies it and says it's this weird fungus or whatever that normally just grows on dead bodies. Well, here, go to Aleska Novak. They're an expert as far as these funguses and these bugs and everything and stuff like that. And Lena studies up on this. It's this necrofungus, and it was used back in the Middle Ages and all the way up to now. But it's been extinct for a while, but it was used by witches, shamans, and stuff like that to summon demons. Oh no, what the hell's going on? Could it actually be something with the dark arts? This is where things start to get a little uneven, because it's like, okay, with you so far. And then, because it tries to be kind of like The Faculty by this point, where it's like, okay, who can you trust? Who's actually, is this like just an isolated incident with the pill? Or is this something that actually turns out to be, widespread? There's this secret government facility that's in such a big building or whatever. How could it not possibly be secret? Because everybody can fucking see the building. They are manufacturing these pills, and it's a way to live without fear and everything. It's a way to basically just keep this thing going, because what it is actually an underground cult thing that the parents are part of and other doctors are part of, and it is to keep this demon, whatever the fuck it is, alive. Or the devil. It's really hard to actually goddamn tell what the thing is. They never really specify that. Or if they did, I just totally missed it in the translations. But, we all have our own demons, the grandfather says, and he's off to surgery. The grandfather mentioned at one point that he was a priest, and he saved a young boy who was very, very sick at some point. And the dad's all worried about being healthy. It was the dad. He saved the dad, basically. And there was a plan, and they're going to try to, their plan, they're going to try to figure out what the fuck's going on here. They talk to... They talk to the people they talk to at the greenhouse, the mother and the son, and they have an EVP equipment thing, and they're trying to do this seance deal while the parents are gone. And this demon basically saying, "Get out of here, she belongs to me," blah. And you're all gonna die. Because everybody's gonna die, because he's just gonna tear everybody up. Even all the demon really ever does is does this and he does that. It's about all he ever does. Then the parents get home, and then they're upset. And they basically, Finn and co leave. And then there's a three-way in a warehouse for no goddamn reason between him, Lena, and this girl, Samiri. Why? I don't know. I don't know why the hell there's a three-way. I'm not saying that if I was him, I'd turn it down. I mean, good God. Also, like, they're all in at least their early to mid-20s playing, like, high school students, so it's always hilarious to me. But yeah, this demon creature does get a hold of Samiri at one point, and there's some kind of drug stuff, going on. Lena goes in undercover, even though she's got pink hair, so yeah, she's really, hard to distinguish from the crowd of regular people with regular hair. She finds out all about this stuff, and oh my God, she ends up in this basement area where people that are dead have this fungus growing out, and this fungus is being harvested. And why is this fungus being harvested? This is where the movie, I think, could have benefited from having a little more cohesion here, because, again, it was throwing ideas out. Maybe the ideas they were trying to make a possible series of movies, but there's a fungus among us, and Lena manages to escape. Shockingly easily. I mean, she runs out. It's like, yeah, don't act natural or anything. Just run out. Not like anybody will see you. And then there's this other guy talking about, it turns out, hey, Finn and, various others, you were all adopted. You're all adopted. Oh, God, we've all been adopted. And it turns out we were all chosen to be part of this stuff and engineered or, just prepared and everything by our parents. And the grandfather ends up passing away. Oh, wait, no, he doesn't, because the doctor ends up injecting and knocking out Finn and Samiri. And this is within the last, 20 minutes of the movie. They're taking Finn down to this basement area of the parents' house that the grandfather's there. And it turns out that the grandfather actually houses this great demon, and he's going to put his soul in there. And here's a question. Why did the people just suddenly have bars like they were hanging up on a goddamn subway, and then they just do this, and everybody's got a part of the demon in them? Some people apparently have, the arm, the leg, and everything. I fear for the person who has to have the taint stuffed in them. But then, Samary's still trapped here, by the way. This is all happening very quickly. Lena shows up. Out of nowhere, she has gas cans and a torch, torches everybody that's apparently in a goddamn trance, burns everybody alive, gets hit by the doctor. The doctor ends up getting stabbed. They, rush out as quickly as fucking possible. And they get in the car, but Sophie is the only one left alive, and they run her over, and they're all escaping, but then suddenly this demon is in the grill, in the engine of the car. I thought they were going to devil inside this shit. They hit the bridge, almost fall off, they get saved, and then they're walking, but there's this big billboard about this drug, I don't even remember the name of it. It was freaking ridiculous. Like, oh god, we can't trust anybody. Well, no fucking duh. You just had everybody try to kill you. I mean, everybody that was a main character in the movie. And then Samaria looks back and she's possessed. Oh my god, the devil creature thingy is still living. Pretends to be shocked. So who knows? We might get the Privilege 2 German Electric Boogaloo. Who the hell knows? I'm still going to give it a B. It was just messy. I was prepared to give it a much higher grade. B+, A-, because it was clicking along, and then it didn't do anything wrong. It just started to lose me, and once a movie starts to lose me, I can't overlook it. But still, B, it's worth watching. It's just uneven. Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.